Hi everyone, Toridey, another fine day, another beautiful day, and all man know when it comes to reaching out to people who can bring something to the community, when it comes to reaching out to people who can be a plus to our community, I need hesitate for reach out to them. Today we have somebody, so many people want to feel like he's controversial, he's this, he's that, he's that. No, I've known him from ever when he surfaced, and admire him for the smart person that he is. In as much as we disagree on certain things, it no still change the fact in a very, very smart person way. To me, I just feel like someday we'll get to that place where we'll serve our community better and better. Welcome to Toridey, boss.
Thanks so much.
Mr. Tapang Ivo.
Thank you so much. Nice concept, Toridey.
Yeah, Toridey, man. We're going for talk, man. For now, we're going for talk until our community get to that place we need to get. I don't run for your back for a very long time.
Yeah, and I just have get a lot of commitments. So ever since I relocated to Texas, yeah, I had a lot of commitments to work on.
How is Texas treating you?
Perfect. Weather, perfect so far. But when I came here 1 year ago, it was extremely hot. My wife complained, my kids complained, and but right now we're grappling on. It's perfect now.
1 year. But you're coming from California.
California.
It's supposed to be hot also.
California is very hot, but Texas is extremely hot.
Are you kidding me?
Yes, California has the breeze. You know, it takes away the heat, but Texas has a stagnant heat. Like I would say a conventional heat. Inside oven, like it just circulate inside, like some kind of cyclonic heat. Yeah.
Oh, you just talked about your wife and kids. How are you doing?
Perfect. We just got married
officially,
traditionally. I know I invite you, and I just say no because.
Okay.
Yeah, we get married traditionally. She's a beautiful, wonderful lady. Met her a couple of 2 years ago. Yeah. So I mean, we both have a kid, 2 sons, and we are doing good.
Wow. I'm gonna go back for beginning.
All right.
Who is Tapang Ivo?
Tapang Ivo is formerly a Cameroonian, now an Ambazonian, because, well, I say formerly because we all marched on the 11th February 20 and May. You know these things, we celebrated those dates together. I came here on a Fulbright scholarship sponsored by the U.S. government to study in the United States. I studied at Stony Buffalo and also Northeastern in Boston, and also right now wrapping up my doctoral to be completed in the next 4 months in data science. I would say Tapang Ivo is that person who, on the other side of his academic career or his professional life, is an advocate for Ambazonia's independence. You may look at Ambazonia in whatever angle you want to look at, but I would say Ambazonia is that country, like other countries, which everyone has a right to contribute to. Just like you see everyone drumming up support for Ukraine, let's support Ukraine. Let's also support Ambazonia. Let's support Ambazonia because our rights are being violated. There are a couple of things Tapang Ivo also is part of, but also as a summary, Tapang Ivo is that father to a family of 2 kids. Tapang Ivo is that leader to a country called Ambazonia, and Tapang Ivo is that academician to a specialty called data science and politics.
You talked about Ambazonia as a country. I know almost to argue, right? But if you talk about Ukraine, and then you liken Ukraine to Ambazonia.
Good.
So many things the way Ambazonia, if actually it will happen, I feel like it's not a bad idea, you understand? But I still feel like they never get to that place. So for liking Ambazonia to Ukraine and call all of them country and say people they get for support, I just feel like that still may be misleading. However, we'll get to that place. I want to really talk because trust me, I admire the family person that you are. I admire the professional person that you are. That is one of the biggest reasons I wanted to have you on my platform. You understand? In as much I will discuss all the other things.
Yes.
Tell us about your professional life.
My professional life, I started off when I graduated, I would say, from the University of Buea in journalism and mass communications, but I also did a dual bachelor's, so which means I was studying journalism alongside geology. So anything science, I'm very much okay with. Got out from University of Buea, applied for, at the time, was Schlumberger, or what you call Pectin, but did not get a job as a geologist with Pectin, so I decided to branch onto journalism, which was my main academic background in UB. I worked for CRTV. I was the first and the youngest reporter to have ever been on Cameroon Calling. So I did a couple of, Cameroon Calling, the Sunday program. Yeah. And also on Hello TV. So I was a popular name back then. Then I also got an admission to the IRIC, the International Relations Institute of Cameroon, where I was selected as a diplomat to study diplomacy. And upon completion, I transitioned directly to the United Nations. So I would say I was the first Cameroonian to be the head of communications for the United Nations Women. It's called the UN Women.
Okay.
Then
you're not a woman, though.
Well, advocating for women's rights.
Okay.
I'm always big on women's rights and all of those. So
Okay.
yeah. They are very important and an integral structure in our community. I would say then I left and joined other international organizations. At the time, there was Ebola. So I worked for the United Nations in Liberia, rolling back Ebola. I worked for more than, I would say, 7 months before I had a scholarship to travel to the United States and study under the Fulbright scholarship. The Fulbright is actually one of, I would say, the most prestigious scholarships in the world, because the admission process is the selection process is extremely rigorous. So which means that you go through a lot of, I will not call it IQ test, but a lot of GRE, TOEFL, and other, I would say, selection criteria for this particular thing. So I think in my year, only 2 were selected from Cameroon. I was among.
And in all this, you were actually a Cameroonian, right?
Yes, I was a Cameroonian.
Wow, that's beautiful to know.
Yes.
Now, Tapang Ivo as a person, you don't stay at us now for some few years, right?
Yes.
In your own experience and in your own words, what do you feel like it be lacking for our community? You understand?
Yes.
Professionally, if you really we go to the next level.
Community coherence, support. The community support is lacking. Yes. If you see other communities like Nigerian communities, you see Ghanaian communities, and maybe Congolese communities. The Cameroon community in particular, let me use the word Cameroon because I don't want to be so divisive between Ambazonia or Cameroon. The Cameroon community in general, we need to support each other. Just like I came into this wonderful studio of yours, I was asking, how can I support? How can we expand it? What can I do? That's the question. Every Cameroonian, when you get into everyone's business, instead of us having baby showers where I'll come to shower you with gifts for the baby, why don't I have a business shower where I come in with money to help you with your business? If I come in to shower you with gifts for your baby is going to grow, blossom, nice, handsome looking child. What about your business? Your business should also grow, look beautiful. I should be proud that I helped you in helping this business. So that's the only thing that is lacking in our community. We have the intellectuals, we have excellent speakers, we have excellent videographers, name it. Cameroonians are one of the most, I would say, the most intelligent races in Ambazonia, in the Africa. But if we can support each other, the rest is done.
Wow. Most people consider you a controversial figure. Do you look at yourself that way?
Well, I would say those who consider me as a controversial figure, they are controversial in their minds. Their minds are not fully developed to understand who Ivo is and what ideology Ivo is passing out. There are only few, I would say, segments of the population that will consider it controversial. The majority see Ivo as that person whom, that's the guy, you know. So don't highlight the few, the 1% that is seeing it as controversial. Look at the broad spectrum. Where Ambazonia is today is because of Tapang Ivo and Mark Barata. Do you agree? So we literally help to carry the Anglophone masses from the point of, I would say, 2017 right up to this moment, where everyone now advocates for guns, bullets, or whatever they're advocating for. But we are the ones who transitioned. We are the Moses who took the people out of, I would say, slavery to the point where there is no return. right now to this conflict? We can discuss that some other time, but I would say controversy depends on wherever you look at Ivo from. If you look at Ivo from the Ambazonia side, you will look at controversies because this is Ivo who should have been helping Cameroon to develop in some way or the other.
For me,
that is perfect.
Yeah.
But if you look at Ivo from the academic side, there's no controversy. I mean, I've always helped people. I've always been an advocate for people to succeed in life. I have so many skill sets that I can always contribute to people's growth and development or research and development. But I have two lives. The political side and also my other side.
You talked about transitioning. I will not use the word Ambazonia.
Yes, that's fine.
Trust me, I don't believe in that. I pray it will never exist.
And which I completely accept because to me I believe in tolerance and respect. You are not an Ambazonian, you're a Cameroonian. I'm an Ambazonian, but yeah, we are sharing a drink. It doesn't, I mean, we should not be hostile towards each other. It's just an ideology, but it doesn't reduce the fact that we are all brothers. We have a baseline on which we can sleep and we can talk and we can discuss and we can grow.
That is where so many people. That is where so many people are crying. That's where so many people are complaining. I had so many messages, and if I go into those messages, about 50% are actually complaining about what you're saying right now, right? Me and you will agree that one of the worst things as Anglophones we hated so bad was the fact that our brothers from the Francophone part of the country will call us Anglophones.
Correct.
You understand?
Yes.
Or they call us Lebamenda. They group us and call us Lebamenda.
Yeah.
But today, people are referred to as black legs. And I've heard you so many times call people black legs. Do you think that is normal? That is what is your opinion? Let me just know why you people do that.
Well, in every conflict, there are two things. You have to vilify and you have to demonize your enemies. Your enemies can come from within, like those who sold Jesus Christ. Even Joseph in the Bible, it's his brothers who sold him. Jesus Christ is his own apostle who sold him. There are circumstances that we can cite from biblical knowledge to live in real day situations like in Ukraine, where even Ukrainians are selling their own Ukrainians to the Russians, where even Russians are selling their own Russians to the Ukrainians. So it's a characteristic of every human conflict. Ambazonia not excluded. We have situations where people among us are selling us, like Joseph being sold to the slave master. We have situations where people among us are being sold, are selling us. What is slave trade, by the way? Because you have a slave and you have a master. So who is the slave and who is the master? Who is that middleman who sells the slave to the master? That's why it's called a trade. So those people are blacklegs. So now how do you operationalize the concept of blacklegs? That is the point. I may disagree with Ambazonia when it comes to how people are being treated as blacklegs. I have a strong discontent with that, but calling someone names as blacklegs, terrorists, this, that, vilifying your opponent is completely normal in international politics. It's
normal. I think it was normal in the old, and nowadays I think we should do things differently. This is 2022. This is not 1916 or the 80s or whatever, because that's the ideology we are trying to kick out. We're trying to kick out those old ways of doing things. And because we have smart people like you and many other smart people out there who can get in there and manage our activity, manage everything about our country, our community, I just feel like those old ideas should be kicked out.
Correct.
I want to talk about something. You talk about transitioning from, I would call it the Anglophone struggle or the Anglophone problem.
Yes.
To what today you guys refer to as Ambazonia and whatever you want to separate. Should I call you guys separatists, right? Yes. I don't even know what to say, but yeah. So now it started as a group of teachers and lawyers who wanted this or that. They were not requesting for separation.
Yes.
And then at one point in time, one of the heads, or I think both of them, Bala and
Tassan,
all of
them,
they got arrested.
Yes.
And then that was when you and Mark Barretta took off.
Correct.
Did Bala actually say, Tapang and Mark, if they catch me today, if anything happens with me today, if they kill me, because we know the government we're serving, you understand?
Yes.
You guys should take over. Or, una just realize, say, hey, Bala no dey again, una just fill that gap, and then...
That's a question that I will never get an answer or a direct answer from. And I would explain why. Bala could have said it, but I did not have direct communications with Bala because he was arrested. How did Tapang and Mark come into the frame? Remember, before the Ambazonia struggle or the Anglophone crisis or whatever was it in 2016, we were just popular Facebook advocates, and Mark Beretta and we had, I would say, one of the largest followings on Facebook, 200,000 and the rest. We were doing other stuff. We're advocating for one Cameroon. We're doing all other kind of things. I was always on live shows teaching people how to build resumes to get it into UN jobs and the rest. Then when Bala and Fontem Neba started this crisis,
Fontem,
Fontem guy, when he started, he's in the United States, when he started this crisis and the rest, I mean, this lawyers and teachers strike, we said, hey, we can help you to sell this. This is something really good for the nation, for nation building. We can help to market this on social media. Now, please, this is what I suggested to Bala Agbo, and I said, please, add 1 point to your 10th point. They had a 10-list agenda in Buea. We said, just add federalism, two-state federalism. It took a long time for these guys to add it as the 11th point. And when they added it, Mark and I were so happy. We wanted federalism for Cameroon, you know. Now, we never envisaged that these two would be arrested. We never ever thought, because these guys were really civil in the way they conducted themselves. So when they were arrested, John Ba Akuro, who was a journalist with CRTV at the time, he was my benchmate at CRTV, someone whom I trust and whom I liked. He came up with a letter, I don't know if it was fake or real, that Ivo and Mark have been appointed as the interim consortium leaders. Now, I reached out to Mark and said, hey, Mark, you know I'm a Fulbright guy. I'm going to go back to Cameroon to teach in the university for 2 years before ever thinking of coming to the United States. I don't want to get into this. I knew it was just a Facebook thing, a social media transitioning thing. This is something Mark convinced me for. It took like a whole night. It was in Belgium at that time. I can remember I was in New York, Buffalo. He convinced me that, Ivo, let's stay together and take this thing. To the point where I even called my mother and said, hey, this is what is happening. My mom said, you're an adult, figure out yourself. So I said, okay, you know what? I'm just going to take it up. When I took it up, Bala himself, who was in prison, I was speaking with Bala on a regular basis. And he was aware that I was the interim consortium leader. Bala was speaking to other people. People were visiting Bala in prison. So if there was any controversy about the appointment of Mark and Tapang, Bala should have spewed it out. But he did not. He means he was in acceptance. He acknowledged that he has these two people representing us. We always had meetings with Bala himself. From prison, Bala was always talking to Mark, and he's a very peaceful guy. Let me insist, till today, one of the most peaceful people I've met in my life, not even physically, but on phone and electronic communications, is Bala Agbo. I will not speak about Fontaine Neba, I will not speak about the others. I will speak about someone whom I've had communications with. If there's one person I believe in on the other side of Cameroon, it's Bala.
Ivo, now 5 years is, do you regret anything?
Never. The only thing that I would say...
Don't just rush into saying never. People don't die.
Yes.
Picking the Nova go, some picking the Nova go school for 5 years, especially poor people that picking them, because rich people don't push that picking and go. I say even your own family, you move on to Yaoundé. I don't know if not true or but they say don't move for your family to Yaoundé. They go school for day, they stay for day, and picking they don't die. People picking they never go school. Businesses don't be destroyed. A lot of things they don't happen. Yes. So you tell me, say after 5 years you don't regret anything.
Let me explain. I don't regret. Why? Cameroon has always been in an abysmal nature even before the Ambazonia crisis. Well, let me explain. In 1982, Paul Biya inherited an economy from Amadou Ahidjo that was at 9% real growth GDP. It was nearing even a double digit. Today, what is the GDP of Cameroon? Less than 3%. In 2017, it was less than, I think it was 5%. Cameroon has been on a steady decline in terms of real growth economy and in terms of even intellectual development and the rest.
Now,
people have been dying in Cameroon. If you go on YouTube, you look at it. I've done some videos in Cameroon as a journalist.
Ivo, which we don't dispute.
Correct.
You understand?
Yeah.
Which we don't dispute. Even me, I don't know if you use the word hate. You understand?
Yes.
But we all go through the same
System.
difficulties, the same whatever. But guess what? The common person like me and you, we don't already know how to get away with it, especially we for the Anglophone community.
For how long?
Let me finish. You understand? So when I talk about do you regret anything, I'm not even talking about what Cameroon government can do for the people. You understand? I'm talking about these small families, these people for our community, they will still survive, even if we do not get to this whole thing. And it does say getting into this whole thing was wrong. You understand? Me and you be survive because guess what? Due our time for Cameroon, where we go primary school, we go secondary school. You understand? This whole kind of thing be happen. So the same picking the stop school. This man a black leg, this man a that. Oh, military will come in and do whatever they can do. Oh, these boys will go do whatever they can do. You understand? That was the reason why me and you acquired the basics that we needed, and today we for Saturday. You understand? So when I ask you the question of do you regret anything, you understand? I don't even want to. I will not feel comfortable for you to take these lives and properties that are lost, you understand, for compare and wait to wait Cameroon government will get for do for you, because whether they do or not, me and you for see survive.
No, it's
completely
sad.
I will ask you again,
yeah.
Do you regret anything?
I don't regret, but I sympathize with all those who have lost human lives, maybe properties, maybe ancestral inheritance, and all of those. It's unacceptable. Guess what? I am an advocate for human rights and development. It's unacceptable. But do I regret the fact that Ambazonians are transitioning from slavery to freedom? Never. There are always collateral damages in every human conflict. I regret the fact that Cameroon has been invited into Ambazonia without issuing, I would say, some kind of a formal request to come and slaughter our people, to destroy lives, to burn your own village, to kill at least a friend that you know. Ambazonians, I will not say Ambazonians are pure. There have been other circumstances that have been reported at the level of kidnapping, whatever nonsense going on in Ambazonia. I completely disassociated myself from that, and I've told people that it should stop, because that was not the goal of Ivo and Mark for this Ambazonia revolution. I was a staunch federalist. Until today, I still think there is an opportunity for Ambazonians to even get the presidency, man the military, man the diplomacy, and still break up through federalism, through a two-state federalism. But it will never work. I still say, and I insist, human lives is something you must always protect. If it's lost, we have to regret it. I
want this speech until you just come over talk. Say Cameroon come into Ambazonia. You're making it sound like Ambazonia is already a country. It is not. You understand? That is my opinion. You can have your opinion. But and if you stand and if you should down for year and accept you for say Cameroon come into Ambazonia, and then some person will watch and really feel like, okay, the country was existing with a president, with national anthem, with this. We all know
we had it.
What?
We had that.
No.
Two countries came to one in 1961.
No,
two countries were joined illegally without any marital signature.
And that is the problem, right?
That's the problem.
Let me explain, right? You guys keep talking about 1961. There was a Cameroon before 1961. You understand?
What was the Cameroon before 1961?
There was Cameroon in 1884, right?
That was not Cameroon. There was no. The Westphalia Treaty.
Let me just finish.
The Westphalia Treaty.
Can I finish what I'm saying,
go on.
please? There was 1884, you understand? And after 1884, the Germans were defeated. That was when they came up with the idea, like, okay, you guys, you take this part, these guys take this part, or administer this part under Nigeria, or this is what we'll do, this part, right? And that was, after that, we got to 1961, where they were, okay, you guys decide, you understand? One thing I really worry about is the fact that you guys keep talking about 1961, but then when any person brings up 1884, you guys don't want to talk about that. And another point also is...
Boundaries were not defined at that time.
No, who defined the boundaries? That's the
boundaries
problem.
Were not defined.
Let me finish, you understand? You can say boundaries were not defined, but we had Sawa people, we had the Grassfield people, we had kingdoms. You understand?
Those are tribes.
Let me
Boundaries were
and
not
that
defined as a
is
country.
Ivo, and that is who we are. You understand?
That's not who we are. We are defined along national boundaries.
National boundaries.
And within those national boundaries,
that
we
were
have tribes.
dictated to us by colonial masters, a group
Correct.
of people we hate. You understand? A group of people who planted that division amongst us. And that is my problem. That is my worry. It's not like I don't like the grassy people, or I don't like the Bulu people, or I don't like, you understand? When we continue to talk about boundaries and we continue to lay emphasis on things that were imposed on us by colonial masters, I start to worry. You understand? Because guess what? I'm a sour guy. You understand? You're a grassy person. But you're from Southwest. The other grassy person is from where? The Western region.
Yes, yeah.
So these people deliberately split us because they wanted to weaken us. You understand? So when we continue to go back to 19...
No, you see, you have a good point, right?
Mm-hmm.
My point is, okay, don't blame and don't put the blame, like Kanye West said, and which I stand with Kanye West's point.
I'm a Kanye West person too, if you should know.
Yeah, you heard what he said about slavery.
Yeah, it's a choice.
It's
I
a
agree
choice.
with that.
I don't want to blame it on those whites. I want to blame it on us today, our contemporary state.
What we can do to
what
move
we
forward.
can do. Slavery is a choice. Paul Biya is enslaving us for he's been in power for about 40 years.
Yeah.
90 years in power. Look at me in the face and look at me in the camera. Is that the America you want to have?
Okay,
But guess what? Forget about wherever you're coming from or wherever we are sitting right now. It's a choice to either stay with Cameroon that way or it's a choice for us to say, hey, this is enough for me as a choice. I want to rebel against this kind of an attitude.
I like the fact that you use the word it's a choice.
Correct.
You understand? So you don't emphasize on the fact that it's a choice for you to stay with Cameroon or to move away from Cameroon. Any person get that choice. Even on the Manfi decides I don't want to belong to Cameroon.
I agree.
Even in Northeast decides we don't want to belong. Not only Anglophones they get that choice, right? Now you guys have started something where for the beginning it make a lot of sense. Because when I be tell with the kind of thing them, it's a choice. You either if you do this, if you do that, and then we don't move now to wait to one at one time. We don't realize we don't get choice for this. It's either you are following us or you're a black leg and your property will be destroyed. This will happen, that will happen, that. I remember one time you put out a message on social media and you said any person will go Cameroon whenever they support the struggle. When I call me, I will tell una wait you what and then we'll take money for your head. Like you say you think it's okay for you to have a choice when you want to break away from Cameroon, but it's not okay for other Anglophones to come out openly and say I don't want us to separate and let us have a civil conversation and then we'll find a way forward.
Okay. Now,